can't handle the truth.
The whole world know I hate rats, I hate snitches. I ain't into telling. So people always want to know, is Pac dead, is Pac alive? I'm the wrong motherfucker to ask. But I tell you this, if you try to find a person who cremated Tupac, after he supposed cremated Tupac, he retired and vanished into the sun, into the sunset, into the darkness. After, if you really look at it, could Pac done all those songs? Sort of mathematically impossible. So answer your own question. Is he here, is he there? But at the same time, that was my little brother. His code name was Machiavelli, like mine is Simon. And if you know the story of Machiavelli, he faked his own death. But at the same time, they wanted to put Pac back in prison. And Pac would fake his own death and disappear before he go back to prison. So shit, you answer that. Do you still hear him? Do you still see him? I'm quite sure you do. But once again, I ain't into telling it, so you never know. People ask me if I know who killed Tupac, and not saying Tupac dead or alive, but I'm saying if they ask me if I know who killed Tupac, I'm the said, hey, absolutely not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No.
I don't get down like that. You'll have a 90 motherfucker walk down the street and said Suge Knight killed Tupac. When everybody know off the top, I ain't the nigga killed Tupac, I'm the nigga protected Tupac.
Yeah.
But at the same time, bitch ass Puffy can give him a motherfucking star, and every rat in the world said he didn't want to kill Tupac.
Yep.
Or had him shot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if you notice, it was a rat on television saying he the one did the shooting, this happened, that happened, this happened, that happened, right?
Right.
If you think about it, right?
Right.
Why you think nobody been arrested if they said they the one killed Tupac? Because Tupac not
Ain't
dead.
as smart as you should be.
Tupac not dead. If he was dead, they'd be arresting those dudes for murder. You know he's somewhere smoking a Cuban cigar on the island somewhere,
right
you
now.
know what I mean?
The sad thing about it, Orlando wasn't even the shooter, They said that, but that's not at all. The truth need to be shown, need to be said. Was all involved. They were trying to kill me too.
Pac said he was shot. I'm like, you shot? I'm finna get you to the hospital. I'm driving, telling him I'm finna get you to the hospital, kick back. Pac looked at me and said, you know what? You need the doctor more than me. You the one shot in your head. And we laughed the whole time going to find out what to the hospital. That's the conversation we had. Pac was a man the whole time. It wasn't that he was like, oh, I'm shot. He cracking jokes. He like, yeah, they shot me. He said, but you shot in your head. Look at your head. Your head bleed. Look how much it's bleed. That was Pac. I'm like, man, shut up. I'm gonna get you to the doctor.
There was a report earlier this week in the New York Post that Tupac was looking to leave Death Row Records. Mm-hmm. Is that true?
Tupac loved Death Row. Tupac loved me. I loved him.
Tupac was saying that a lot of people, a lot of the artists, like OFTB and Rick James and certain other individuals was saying that Tupac was ready to go. He fulfilled his obligation, his 3 albums or what have you, and he was ready to go.
He's like, I got to read a letter to y'all. He read the letter. The lady was like, your life is in danger. Get off of death row. He don't know who she was. She was a fan. This was before Instagram, Facebook, where a person could just send you a message saying, look, your life is in danger. You must leave death row. Please listen to me, such and such might happen to you. I don't believe you're going to survive and this and this and that.
And most people didn't know this, that Tupac had an $80 million deal with Warner Brothers. It was a multimedia deal. He had an $80 million deal waiting on the table over at Warner Brothers that Quincy Jones helped to facilitate. As you can see, the relationship, Kadada, Tupac, Quincy, already had Quest Records, already doing his thing through Warner Brothers, and that whole thing and how it's tied in, Will Smith, you know what I mean? That Warner Communication, that whole umbrella. So that was the situation. So that's why Tupac worked so tirelessly. He was trying to get his rights back and the authority to be able to do the things that he needed to do.
The thing that raised some eyebrows with people is when I dropped the information about Quincy Jones. I let the chips fall wherever they fall.
That's right.
This dude was one of the ones responsible. He had a magazine financed by Warner Brothers and the rest of them. He set up sex rings in Hollywood. And the people that he brought in, if y'all tell me if I'm lying, Quincy Jones brought in Fresh Prince.
Yes, he did.
And his first movie was what? 6 Degrees of Separation. Brought in Queen Latifah.
Set it off.
Queen Latifah set it off, licking and kissing on women. Are you right on me?
Yes.
Tevin Campbell. His little sweet ass up and down Hollywood Boulevard.
Got caught in the park.
Thank you. And last but not least, when Tupac came to Hollywood, it was the homosexual ritual. This is where the homosexuals came out against it, but I didn't mind. I wasn't talking about homosexuals. I'm saying there's a homosexual ritual that they go through in the Illuminati secret societies. And it is. So when I mentioned that about it marrying itself on to hip hop, they said, well, can you prove it? Yeah. Go back and go online and read where Tupac said he was asked by Quincy Jones to fuck him in the ass. When Tupac said no, that's when Tupac was marked for death. Why? Because Tupac was engaged to Quincy Jones's daughter. Quincy Jones's daughter was best friend was Aaliyah. Aaliyah was engaged to Dame Dash. Now, if y'all follow these people back, all of them either died or was brought to ruin.
Quincy Jones wanted to, fuck him in the ass. He offered to fuck Tupac in the ass, uncensored over here. Do you ever hear anything about that?
Well, that was the reason that Tupac met Kadada.
Right.
One of the daughters took offense to it.
Yep.
And was mad about that.
John, my hand to God. I'm in Illinois with him. Tupac and Biggie are on the cover. Quincy goes to his daughter who's dating him. Out loud says this. The motherfuckers both gonna be dead in a year. He goes, I tried to get out of this shit. Sinatra and me got the fuck away from guys with guns. What the fuck are they doing? He goes, it's bullshit. And he goes, and Tupac's just a bougie fuck. He grew up in Baltimore with like a liberal arts.
There's a quote I had read a while back where Pac said that he knew he was making a deal with the devil, but he just couldn't be in this prison anymore.
Situation in dealing with Tupac, you got to understand. Tupac had to. He would have not gotten out of jail if he did not sign this agreement.
When Pac signed with Death Row, because essentially nobody was paying his bail. You talked about that in your open letter, how the guy who got Tupac signed, and he had the #1 album, it's platinum, right? He wouldn't bail him out.
When Tupac was in prison, people have no idea that she was actually an eyewitness when Suge Knight and David Kenner came to visit. And Tupac, he actually made you sign a paper saying that she was an eyewitness. Give me the backstory behind that.
So it was, I was on the visit already with him. I remember him, being excited, telling me that he, I guess had worked out some type of deal where they were, David was going to represent him and get him an appeal. Suge was going to get, the money from whoever to put up so they could bail him out, and he would be getting out soon. So they came in, and it was crazy. It's kind of almost like a film where, everything just gets silent. But then, the silence, I turn, I see this humongous man walking in there and, a slick looking lawyer. And I'm like, okay, he looks like he's more in the mob than he's the actual attorney, but okay. They come in and, I got up, moved over so that they could have their conversation. And they sat down and got to business. Pac, started writing out whatever he had to write out on the contract. And, they just had the brief discussion. David said he needed a witness. So Pac was like, babe, sign the paper. And I was like, all right, cool. David got that together, left. Him and Suge talked for a couple more minutes, and then, they left. Once they left, he was excited, but he did make this comment where he was like, I just signed my soul to the devil. Under different circumstances, I don't know that he would have made that choice. Everything that he did, damn near his whole life, was to make sure that he put his mother and his family in a good position for life so that they would be well. And, he was going to do whatever it took.
So he really made that comment after he agreed to sign with Death Row that he was selling his soul to the devil?
He was signing his soul to the, yeah, that's what he did. That's what he said. That's what he said.
See this big guy, in his red shirt, jeans, larger than life presence. And I'm like, okay, I see Suge. So they came in and sat down at the table with us. I moved over, let them get in front of him so that they could handle their business. Got to signing the papers. he asked me to be a witness on the paper. When they left, you know, Pac just made the comment like, you know, I hope I'm not selling my soul. He knew at that point it was a countdown. It was just a matter of time.
Yeah, Pac, you know, the week that led up, you know, the week prior to him, you know, returning to Allah, Pac was, he was doing a lot of things that, you know, it was strange. He was, you know, he bought these portable cameras when he was giving out in LA. He was making us take pictures. He was like, look, we don't got enough pictures together. So we started just taking pictures around his house, random pictures. And then when he went to New York, you know, he called me to his room and he had all his jewelry laid out. And I was like, Pac, what's up? You told me to come to your room. And he was like, grab something. I'm like, grab what? Because I don't, you know, this is the first time he act like this. He's like, grab something, the jewelry, whatever you want, take is yours. So I grabbed the ring because I didn't want to go for the big stuff. He had Rolexes. I'm talking about diamond Rolexes, watches, bracelets, everything. So I grabbed the ring, the little thing. He's like, man, grab something else. I grabbed a Rolex. It's a Rolex bracelet that he had on All Eyes on Me. Gaddafi and Edie was out there. He was like, what Pac wanted? Why he called you to the room? I was like, man, Pac acting weird, bro. He made us walk around, take pictures. He's like, we just don't have enough. We need pictures for memories. We don't have enough pictures with each other. And then he gave away his jewelry. A couple days later, he passed away. Yeah, one of the famous pictures that we took, you know, I have a yellow shirt on and I'm standing next to Pac. We both throwing up West Side, right in his living room. That was one of the pictures. I don't know if it's any other pictures from that week on the internet, but that's one of them. He definitely was acting as if he was going to depart. He was acting, he wasn't acting the normal Pac.
Well, first of all, I was there that night. I was with Suge.
Oh, you were with him. Okay. Do you have any idea who shot Suge?
I'm pretty sure Suge knows who shot Suge.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
so when he comes out of sedation, I'm sure anybody who gets shot will tell you who shot them, right?
Yeah.
But if the police say nobody shot him, I believe nobody shot him. And if nobody shot him, that's the same nobody that shot Tupac. And if nobody shot Tupac, it's the same nobody that shot MLK. And if nobody shot him, that's the same person that shot Malcolm X too. It's a lot of nobodies out there, and nobody minds if nobody comes up missing, right? That don't bother nobody, does it? Certainly doesn't bother me.
So,
shout outs to the nobodies of the world.
You're predicting this is going to be a nobody situation.
I'm making no predictions whatsoever. I'm saying the police said they arrested the shooters, then said they didn't arrest the shooters. But I was there, so I know that 20 minutes after people were laying down on the ground shot, no police had entered the club yet. If it was gang related, then why didn't it happen thoroughly? You see, there's parts of this story that just don't seem to make sense.
Right.
You're saying it was gang related, so that means somebody's gang was shooting at somebody's gang, and then somebody's gang didn't shoot back. That's your story? That's not really how gang stuff works, is it?
He got shot. You know, he had got shot before and, you know, survived. Pretty tough dude, right? To this day, I want to tell you this. If he wanted to live, he could have lived, but he would have sold his soul.
This idiot's boss pops pills and tells him that he's got skills, but Kels, the day you put out a hit is the day Diddy admits that he put the hit out that got Pac killed.
7 years ago, I'd have been like, yo, did you hire somebody to kill Pac? But no, you do it like a journalist.
Yeah, no, I mean, we wouldn't even get into nonsense like that.
My recollection of the story was I was shooting a video, the second half of Warning, which is on the B side of Big Papa, and I was shooting that around the block, and I heard my man was up at the studio doing a Junior Mafia session. So I got off at the reception area, and I saw Andre and Little Sean. So I saw him saying what's up to me. I'm about to get on the elevator, and he comes out shot. Had no knowledge of him going to be robbed, and we that's just a fact. Anything else is a fantasy.
The police don't want to find out who shot me. They happy.
The police know who shot me.
And you don't believe that they're doing all they can to do that?
They're not doing everything they can to do that. They know who shot me. I already know who shot me. Number one. Number two.
But if
it's like everybody knows who shot me. The police know who shot me.
We was on the outside. They was parked in the back. And I don't know why Puff wanted to go this way. It was kind of funny. Like he knew they was going to be back there or something. It was strange to me. We went back there, and there go Suge and Pac. Suge was in a red drop-top Rolls-Royce Bentley,
one of them. Pop was in a white one. We passed them. And then Riz said, there go them niggas there. Turn back around. We stopped in front of Pop car. And Puff said, what up, Pop? Pop did like this. Pop looked at him and turned his head. Didn't say a motherfucking thing to him. I was like, oh shit. Then Riz was like, talk to Suge. Suge is the boss. We pulled up on Suge car. And Puff asked Suge, said, yo, Suge, what's up? She said, what up, man? He said, Suge, we ain't got no problems down here, do we? And Suge said, I don't know no problems y'all got. So we good? And Suge said, yeah, I guess you good, yeah. That's when Puff told the reporter he better not hear nothing about what happened that night in that car. That day in that car. This was in the afternoon, about like 2 or 3 o'clock, something like that. It was funny they was back there at that time.
Tupac's fiance, man, before he passed away, Kadada Jones, the incident with her and Puffy. What exactly happened with that, yo?
It was just a situation. We were there either How I Could Be Down or it was Jack the Rapper, one of them. And they was giving Producer of the Year. Puff didn't want to leave because he thought he was going to be the Producer of the Year. And he took one of the pictures, after we had drunk on one, he took one of the pictures, I think the picture of ginger ale or whatever like that, and he poured in the water pitcher or something like that. And then he went up under the table and he urinated in the pitcher, right? With the ice and stuff in it still. He urinated in the pitcher. And Quincy Jones' daughter, I think it's Kadada Jones or whatever like that, she came to the table. And she was just talking to Puff, everything like that. She was talking to Puff. And then next thing you know, she reached over to grab the pitcher and poured her a glass of ginger pea. You know what I mean? Like that. And she was about to drink it and Wolf stopped her. She said, no, you don't want to drink that, you don't want to drink that, stuff like that. And stopped. She said, why? Nobody said nothing. But he had pissed in the damn ginger ale or whatever like that in that same bottle. And then I didn't know at first that she was the one who did the vibe party where Big got killed at.
Did Puffy see her about to drink out that bottle, yo? He wasn't trying to stop her? He was going to let her drink out that bottle like that?
Yeah, no, he ain't stopping.
That's out of pocket, man.
How'd you get into Tupac?
The influence of how someone speaks. When you talk, you have to know what you're talking about. You have to understand that people are listening and that you can actually manipulate energy with what you say. So therefore, you have to make sure that when you talk about Tupac, it's like, everything about him was influential. A lot of people don't know about his real hardships. A lot of people don't know about who he really is and what he dealt with and what was taken from him. His soul was taken from him. They seen where he was going, they knew what he was trying to do, and they knew what he was doing and knew he was capable of. And they took it from him.
I know you were kind of, linked into Hollywood and everything for a long time. And
I am Hollywood. Yeah, I am Hollywood, which is why I know. But I'm not arrogantly going to sit here and be like, oh, this is that and this is that. Like, there's a lot of things that will make you buckle, bro. It's really Hollywood. It's really fucked up out there. It's really fucked up bad. And like, you just be like, damn, I was just listening to that man's fucking album. His star is on the floor and this motherfucker sitting right here. Like, when I tell you I am Hollywood, I mean I literally am Hollywood. You ever seen Babalu? Babalu.
Okay.
Desi Arnaz, Desi Arnaz.
Yep.
Joe Jackson, right? You know who
Yep.
Joe Jackson is? Okay, cool. Yeah, my daddy owned all that shit. Every studio in Hollywood, every fucking block in Hollywood, anything you can fucking name in Hollywood belongs to Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz. So when it comes down to it, not to disclose too much, but I will tell you, I am Hollywood. I'm their baby.
Who killed Tupac and Biggie? I think both of these dudes were assassinated in some kind of way. Seems a little
JFK.
governmental to me.
I believe Tupac's killer is dead, though. But I believe this. It was definitely set up.
Comes to writing, he was a genius. Like, everything Pac did, it was calculated. You know what I mean? Pac was a genius. He knew that he had a niche that nobody else had. You know what I mean? It's certain things that you can speak about that really touch the soul, and death is one of them things. That's something that is going to catch the attention of the people. And Pac, a poet, like he's a deep poet. His words, he was using words to, that can penetrate the heart. You know what I mean? And that's why so many people related to Pac. So one of the things that everyone can relate to is death.
Please subscribe with notifications on.